day, grade 7 learners. Welcome to fourth quarter, week 3 of our online learning. Let's start with prayer. Radiate hope and strength through His presence by starting the week with our prayer. Dear God, I know that when I am weak, You are my strength. You understand that these are the times when I need to be carried by You. I pray that You would gently renew my strength. Speak Your words of encouragement into my mind. Sing songs of hope over my soul and awaken my heart. Amen. Last week, we discussed Quarter 4, Module 1, and we learned the distinguishing features of academic and literary writing. In our discussion, we also identified the two types of academic writing, which are student academic writing and expert academic writing. At the end of the discussion, you were asked to complete all your tasks in your Module 1. Before we check your tasks in your Quarter 4 Module 1, let us first recap what we have discussed last week.
Let's discuss the features of academic writing. Academic writing is a formal style of writing. Its general purpose is to present information in order to display a clear understanding of a particular subject. Here are some examples of documents where academic writing is used: books, research paper, journals, conference paper, abstract, thesis, and news articles. As a writer, you need to remember that academic writing uses words which are formal and objective. It is important to be formal in writing an essay, which means your tone should not sound casual or conversational. To make your writing more formal, try to avoid using colloquial, slang, or idiomatic expressions, and choose expanded forms over contracted forms. Here are some examples of colloquial, slang, or idiomatic expressions and their corresponding formal language.
Go is equivalent with depart for formal language. Go up is increase. Instead of using let, we use allow. Need is for requests. Tell, inform. Wrong, we say incorrect. For throw away, we say discard. Top notch, we say highly valuable. And a lot of, we say a great deal of.
So, instead of saying, with women, there is a lot of pressure to conform to a certain physical shape, replace the word a lot of with a great deal of. Therefore, it should be, with women, there is a great deal of pressure to conform to a certain physical shape. Some people will find colloquial language difficult to understand, which can lead to misinterpretation. Instead, find the formal equivalent of the word, or just drop or remove it depending on the sentence. To make your writing informal, choose expanded forms over contracted forms. Contraction is when two words are combined into one. Instead of omitting letters and replacing them by apostrophe, it is more formal to spell it out or use the expanded form.
Example: doesn't, does not; can't, cannot; they've, they have; it's, it is. Well is a contracted form of we will. Your for you are, isn't, is not, and gonna is going to.
Instead of writing, the policy doesn't permit illegal dealings, it is better to write, the policy does not permit illegal dealings. Objectivity is another feature of academic writing. In general, academic writing is based on facts and evidence and is not affected by personal emotions. Therefore, to make your essay or research paper convincing, you must use an unbiased style of writing. To maintain an objective tone in your writing, avoid the following: personal statement and judgment, and emotional language. In writing a research report, avoid the use of personal pronouns such as you, I, and we. Example: instead of writing I performed an experiment, write the experiment was performed. For you to avoid using personal pronouns, use the passive voice. Another example is, instead of saying, I believe that fast food contributes to obesity, it is better to say, in this paper, the effects of fast food consumption on obesity were presented in various studies. Avoid phrases like I believe, I think, and I feel, because these may indicate biases. Avoid emotive language that shows biases. Avoid writing, it is unfortunate that many Filipinos do not have work these days. Instead, make it formal by writing, based on the Philippine Statistics Authority or PSA data, about half or 48.2% of unemployed Filipinos are from ages 18 to 24. Include facts or evidence to prove your point rather than using emotional language. Now let's try. Rewrite the following sentences by using words that are formal and objective. 1. Carlo didn't submit his assignment.
The rule here, we should choose expanded from form over contracted form. So what is the correct answer? Good job. Carlo did not submit his assignment.
2. Mike is gonna be here soon.
We have the same rule. You have to use the expanded form to make it more improved or formal. So what is the correct answer? Mike is going to be here soon. That's right.
Number 3, let me introduce you to the guests.
The rule here is avoid using colloquial, slang, or idiomatic expressions. Instead, choose formal language or the formal equivalent of the word. So instead of let, what are you going to use? Correct. Use allow. No? So the correct sentence is, allow me to introduce you to the guests.
4. I interview the candidates.
You are asked to avoid personal statements. How do we do this? Use instead the passive voice of the verb, no? To avoid the use of personal pronouns such as I, you, and we. So what would be the correct way of saying this statement? Splendid. Now we say, the candidate was interviewed. Very good.
And number 5, Anna can't reach the top shelf.
So same rule, again, use the expanded form over contracted form. So what would be the correct expanded form of the contraction can't? Excellent, no? So it should be, Anna cannot reach the top shelf. Well done, class. So now let us check your activities. In your module 1, first activity, you are asked to read the questions carefully, choose the letter of the best answer. You are asked to write your answer in your English notebook. Number 1, which of the following statement about writing is correct? A. Writing is a medium of human communication that involves the representation of a language with symbols. B. There is no need to understand the basic system of language when writing. C. Writer may write for no specific purpose. Or D. There is only one style of writing. Correct answer is letter A. Now, writing is a medium of human communication that involves the representation of language with symbols. No? So, the other 3 in here are actually opposite of what a writing is. No? Writing is needs to be understood and that it follows the basic system of language when writing. There is a purpose for every writing activity that we undergo to, and there is more than one style of writing. Next, number 2. The purpose of writing is to aid the reader's understanding. It is clear, concise, focused, structured, and backed up by evidence. What type of writing is that? A. Academic writing. B. Descriptive writing. C. Literary writing. Or D. Persuasive writing. Great job. That is academic writing. Number 3. Which of the following is not the purpose of academic writing? A. To inform. To narrate. To explain. To influence. Academic writing is all except for, good job, letter B, to narrate. No, academic writing is communicating factual information. No, so it is not used to narrate. No. Next, number 4. The following is an example, though, of academic writing. All of it, no, except for 1. What is it? A. Hyperbole. The forms extend the language used in bullying. B. An essay about the Philippine literature in pre-colonial period. C. The Fault in Our Stars by John Green. And D. English 7, Quarter 4 module. Which one is not an example of academic writing? Letter Splendid, letter C. The Fault in Our Stars by John Green. Now, it's a novel, or a story. Therefore, it is not an academic writing. Whereas the others, the first one, letter A, is an example of a study. Letter B is an example of an essay about a certain period of time. And letter D is an example of a textbook or a module. Therefore, it all uses academic writing. Next, number 5. What is plagiarism? A. Plagiarism is using someone else's words or thoughts as your own. So you claim it as your own. B. Plagiarism is a bibliography. Again, bibliography is a story about a person's life. No? Letter C. Plagiarism is copying words or ideas with proper credits. So you copy but you give proper credits to the rightful owner. D. Plagiarism means using paragraphs from another source with proper citation. A, B, C, or D? What's the correct answer? What is plagiarism? Letter A. Now, plagiarism is illegal. No, you use other person's thoughts or words as your own. So, what do? Every time that you use someone's thoughts or words, you give proper credit to the rightful owner and you use proper citation. Okay, so you cite where did you, what are the sources of information that you have used. No? So don't claim informations that are not your own, because if you do, that is called plagiarism. Next activity, you are asked to read this example of academic writing and answer the following question. So, in this example of writing, what is the selection all about? Yes, it's about the types of vaccine. Enumerate the types of vaccine discussed. So what are the types of this vaccines that we have in here? So we have RNA vaccines, proteins, subunit vaccines, and vector vaccines. Third question, can these vaccines end the pandemic? Why or why not? So why do you think, class? Okay, so you may answer, your answers may vary from each other. No? So again, make sure that you submit your answer, photo of your answered activity in your notebook in Messenger. No? So we can say that the vaccine is crucial, yes, no? For reaching the herd immunity threshold, we need to return to normal life. We all need to get vaccinated and continue to wear a mask, wash our hands, and still practice social distancing. All this we need to do in order to end the pandemic. Now, the second story in here is an example of a comic strip. Now, you were asked what is the comic strip is about. No? So, this one is a reminder about getting vaccinated. Now, the second question is in here is you were asked if you were to decide who should get the COVID-19 vaccine. So, what would be your choice? Who will be your choices? Next activity, this time you're asked to compare the difference between academic writing in the form of an essay and in a format of an excerpt from a novel titled The Little Prince by Antoine de Saint-Exupéry. So this is an example of an essay of The Little Prince, and this is the example of an excerpt. In your activity, you are asked to enumerate the difference of essay and excerpt. So what is an essay? What is an excerpt? Based on this example from The Little Prince of Antoine de Saint-Exupéry. So let us read this essay so that we can have an idea also. Now, so basically, both of this one is a shortened version of the story. Now, I encourage you to watch and read the story too, so you can relate or understand the story better. So, let's start with this essay. Finding what you truly desire. Desire means a strong feeling of wanting to have something or wish for something to happen. So, finding what you truly desire is hard to come by. The perfect pair of shoes, the top that fits you perfectly, and the job that will make you most money is trivial. Trivial meaning of little value, hindi importante, of little value or importance these things are superficial. No? Pair of shoes, top, a job that will make you money. They are superficial and shallow. No? To what is essential in life. So what is essential in life? No? So many people are searching for the things they feel are indispensable. Indispensable meaning absolutely necessary, crucial, or essential to living a happy life, sometimes forgetting what they really need. No? So, example, we work so hard to earn money to buy us things we think are indispensable, and in turn, what happens? We lose time or become too busy to spend quality time with our family. No? So in The Little Prince by Antoine de Saint-Exupéry, the Little Prince points out, people where you live, the Little Prince said, grow 5,000 roses in one garden. Imagine that, no? 5,000 roses. You have 5,000 roses in your garden. Yet, they don't find what you're looking for, meaning they are still unhappy. That is not still what they desire. They don't find it. I answered, and yet they're looking for what they're looking for could be found in a single rose or a little water. Of course, I answered, and the Little Prince added, but okay, so let's stop with that one. No? So we can say in here that there are two kinds of people in this world, no? As they try to find what they truly desire in life. One is people who are able to grow 5,000 roses in their garden, yet is still unhappy. And two, people who are able to find a single rose or a little water only, yet they found what they are looking for. When we search with our eyes, we tend to become blind. No? So the Little Prince added, but eyes are blind. You have to look with heart. When we look or search with our eyes, we tend to become blind. Mas hindi natin nakikita kung ano yung essential in life. Na? But when we look with the heart, there is when we may find what we truly desire. As the narrator, he narrates the story, and he is also one of the characters in The Little Prince. No? As the narrator pulls the water up out of the well, so one time the Little Prince went to a desert, no? And he met the narrator, no? So this narrator tries to pull up water from the well, no? And the pulley is a wheel with grooved rim around which a cord passes, used to pull the water up out of the well. So the pulley seems to sing to the Little Prince. So the pulley is singing. In fiction stories, inanimate objects and abstract ideas can act or speak like human being. We call it personification, giving human attributes to things that are not human, such as the rose talking, the cloud laughing, and in here, the pulley singing. Okay? So, the pulley seems to sing to the Little Prince. Now with this, the narrator realizes what the Little Prince was looking for by their journey through the desert. The Little Prince did not need to quench his thirst, nor did he enjoy walking through the hot desert. Mainit, pero hindi yung pagpawi niya sa pagkauhaw ang nagpa-enjoy dun sa Little Prince sa kanyang journey. He enjoyed the company. He enjoyed the company and the occasion in which they walked together. The saunter after they had the song of the pulley, no? So the little prince enjoyed his saunter or relaxed walk. He was in no hurry or effort in the hot desert, not because he is able to quench his thirst, but because he enjoyed the company of the narrator and the pulley. The effort to get the water from the well was what the little prince considered even as a gift. The experience of friendship and bonding is what the little prince had been looking for the entire time. Because in the story, the little prince is looking for what his heart desires. Na? Now, the narrator, like most people, had to realize that the individual tasks do not lead to happiness in life. It is all the moments shared with family and friends that is one gift to one another. So that is what is essential in life, na? In life, looking vaguely for what one sees is happiness is not uncommon. We are all looking for happiness. Feeling as though 100 acquaintances are better. Sometimes we get blinded. We thought that having 100 of acquaintances is good, no? Better than 2 close friends or attending fine affairs, no? Fine affairs, ibig sabihin magarbong or magandang mga occasion where you are inconsequential are more important than personal birthdays at home. No? So you'd rather be attending fine affairs than attend personal birthdays at home. Anyone can have thousands of social media friends and followers, but only few can be considered as a real friend and family. As the little prince states, grow 5,000 roses in one garden, yet they don't find what they're looking for. Okay. So this is an example of an essay for the story of the Little Prince. No? And this time, this one is an example of an excerpt. No? The Little Prince by Antoine de Saint-Exupéry. And now, here is my secret. A very simple secret. It is only with the heart that one can see rightly. What is essential is invisible to the eye. Okay, so your activity is you are asked to give the difference between the two, enumerate difference or compare this example of academic writing. So it gives in here an essay, while in here we have an excerpt. So looking here at an example, so we can say that this essay example is a interpretation or analysis of the novel, the message of the novel regarding what is essential is invisible to the eye, no? Whereas the other one in here is an excerpt, which means a line that is lifted from the novel itself, no? Wherein you are to make your own analysis or reflection regarding this quotation, no? Therefore, it is an excerpt is an example of a literary writing. So therefore, we can say that based on the example, the presented essay interprets or critiques the literary composition, appearing to be the selection summary and deals with the author's point of view regarding the selection. And so it is an example of an academic writing. Whereas an excerpt, what is an excerpt? It is a Latin word meaning plucked out or picked out from the selection itself. It is therefore an extract, which means a small part, fragment, short passage, quotation, or quote from a piece of writing, such as a book, novel, poem, short story, article, speech, or other literary work that is printed or published separately to give the reader a specific example from the source. So an excerpt is a sentence which is normally surrounded by quotation mark, just like our example. So the second activity is you are asked to explain briefly what does the excerpt, what is essential is invisible to the eye mean. So you are going to give your interpretation on that one, or self-reflection. So we can say that our bond or feelings with things or people around us are completely invisible to the eye. It is only with the heart that we can see rightly, na, because basically we cannot see through through our eyes the bond or feelings or relationship with people around us. Only through the heart we can see the bond, na, and so what is essential is invisible in the eye. To dig in further on the difference between academic and literary writing, you are asked to identify the characteristics. Which feature do they belong, na, and what type of writing does it describe, na? So is it styles, tone, style, choice of word, organization of idea, purpose, or example? Okay, so the first one in here is reflective and personal, and the other one is serious and a bit personal. So in here, it discusses or describes the reflective and personal. It describes the author's attitude towards the writing, so therefore it falls under the tone. No? It is reflective and personal. The topic is personal. No? Uh, uh, the, the other one, on the other hand, is serious and a bit impersonal. Okay, so which one here falls under literary writing and academic writing? Yes, now reflective and personal is usually the tone for literary writing, whereas serious and a bit impersonal is a tone for academic writing. The second one, to show or tell unfolding of events, and the next that follows is to inform or to explain. So this two, where does it fall? What type of feature does it express? Yes, it express purpose. Na? So where does this type of feature fall? Na? So to show or unfolding of events, that is the purpose of literary writing. And the other one, its purpose is to inform or to explain, that is academic writing. Very good. Now, third, simple but figurative. And the other one uses specialized language of a discipline. So it falls under what? Choice of words. Good job. Now, which type of writing has simple and maybe figurative choice of words or writing? Literary or academic writing? Yes, choice of word, that is under literary writing. No, so therefore academic writing, as we have said, no, uses specialized language of a discipline. No? Okay, next off, symbolic and imaginative, formal and authoritative. It falls under style or organization of ideas. Na? So which one, where does symbolic and imaginative fall? That is under literary writing. And then formal and authoritative is academic writing. Next, of course, this is an organization of idea. Na? So flows freely and spontaneously. Which one? Literary writing or academic writing? That is for literary writing. And of course, always, as what we have discussed, no, academic writing always follows a pattern of presenting ideas. Na? And finally, for the examples, so where does poems, short stories, drama, novel, and epics falls? Literary or academic writing? Of course, that falls under literary writing, and book reports, written reports, tables, charts, and letters fall under academic writing. For your recap activity, you are asked to complete the table below based on the previous discussion. A sample statement is also given as your guide. You are asked to give one reason by writing. You are asked to give one reason why writing is important. 2, you are asked to give 2 things you know about the lesson that you were not aware before the discussion. And 3, you're asked to choose 3 academic writing characteristics that you can apply to your own writing. Application, you are asked to look around and describe unusual scenes in your surrounding using sensory details. Na? Taking note of the rubrics, na, we have 3 criteria in here. 5 points for content, 5 points for organization and structure, and 5 points for grammar, punctuation, and spelling, a total of 15 points. Na. So, you are to write an essay. So this time, it's writing a literary, writing an example of an academic writing, na describing the things around you. So we call it descriptive writing prompt. Na choose a title for your work. And for your final evaluation, you are asked to read the following text below, identify its type by writing academic or literary writing on the space provided before each number. Okay, so number 1, COVID-19 threatens to have devastating consequences in the least developed countries. LDC for least developed countries. Health systems may be unable to cope with precipitous increase in infections, and these countries lack the source or to cope with the socio-economic consequences of lockdowns around the world. Unless bold policy actions are taken by the international community, achieving the Sustainable Development Goals or SDGs by the 2030 deadline will likely slip out of reach na. So this one is a summary from UN.org na. So it's about sustainable development goals na by 2013. So this one is academic writing. Okay, next one, number 2. Wash your hands often and well with soap and water or alcohol-based gel. Disinfect surfaces you touch a lot like cell phones, computers, doorknobs, etc. So this one is an instruction or a guide from World Health Organization. So the source is from Western Pacific region. Instructions are guidelines. What type of writing is it? Yes, it's academic writing. Next, number 3, My Hero Is You. This one is a fictional book developed by and for children, aims to help families understand and cope with COVID-19. My Hero Is You, adopted from IASC children's book. So this one is from a fictional book, therefore it is literary writing. Number 4, in around 2020, a severe pneumonia-like illness will spread throughout the globe, attacking the lungs and bronchial tubes. And resisting all known treatments, more baffling than the illness itself will be the act that it will suddenly vanish as quickly as it arrived, attack again 10 years later, and then disappear completely. So this one is from a prediction books na that was written many years ago na about 2020 na it predicted that there will be a severe pneumonia illness that will happen. So end of days is the source. This basically is from page 312 na. So predictions is what type of writing it is? Literary writing. And last one, number 5, they called the stuff Wuhan 400 because it was developed at their rDNA labs outside of the city of Wuhan. And it was the 400 viable strain of man-made microorganism created at the research center. This one is from the novel entitled The Eyes of Darkness, page 333. What is it? Yes, it is from a novel, therefore it is a literary writing. So again, it's very important for us to research our sources so that we could be able to identify also whether they are academic or literary writing. So that's it. Those are your activities for your quarter 4, module 1. Again, all activities this time you are to send me a photo of your outputs checked with total scores. Now, let's proceed to your quarter 4, module 2. In module 2, we will learn the strategies of interpersonal communication. Interpersonal communication is the process of exchange of information, ideas, and feelings between 2 or more people through verbal and non-verbal methods. It often includes face-to-face exchange of information in a form of voice, facial expressions, body language, and gestures. Therefore, this module will also help you understand how to convey an information using visual communication and employ ideas on verbal and non-verbal communication. After going through this module, you are expected to employ a variety of strategies for effective interpersonal communication, such as interview, dialogue, conversation, and the like. Define the 3 strategies of interpersonal communication. Identify and practice good verbal and nonverbal communication, and convey messages from a visual communication presentation. Now, practice your interpersonal communication skill by looking back on disinfection and sanitation tips against COVID-19. In your English notebook, write at least 5 tips about disinfection and sanitation on how we can continue protecting ourselves from the virus. Let's discuss how to employ a variety of strategies for effective interpersonal communication. As a form of communication, conversation is when you exchange thoughts, opinions, and information on things with your family, friends, neighbors, or even your acquaintance. Interpersonal relates to the relationship or communication between people. In this case, it's communication, but it's more than mere talk. According to Sayuno in 2019, it is not only about what is said and what is received, but also about how it is said and how the body language and facial expressions are used. Interpersonal communication is the process of exchange of information, ideas, and feelings between 2 or more people through verbal or non-verbal methods. It often includes face-to-face exchange of information in the form of voice, facial expressions, body language, and gestures. It also refers to the entire process and practice of exchanging ideas, information, and even emotional experiences that can be shared between people. Let's explore our topic, which is communication strategies. When communication occurs, it typically happens in one of 3 ways: verbal, non-verbal, and visual. People very often take communication for granted. Why is that? No? It is because it's easy. Communication is easy and it comes naturally to us. But just because it comes easily to us, it does not mean we're good at it. We can think whatever we want, but we sometimes can't articulate those thoughts in a way others can understand. Then our thoughts are wasted. So, for us to be effective communicators, properly expressing your thoughts and opinions, whether it is verbal or non-verbal, requires the art of speaking. We should learn to give and receive appropriate interpersonal communication strategies so we can foster better relationships with our friends, family, co-workers, and so forth. Since communicators constantly exchange information, meaning people always seem to be either receiving or giving information. So these are the 3 interpersonal communication strategies. The first strategy is verbal communication. It is a communication wherein we use language to transfer information through speaking or sign language. Sender used this to inform or give words to his feelings, thoughts, ideas, and opinions and expresses them in the form of speeches, discussions, presentations, and conversations. Example, giving credit to others, advising others regarding an appropriate course of action. The second example of interpersonal communication strategy is a communication done by sending and receiving wordless clues, na? It's called non-verbal communication. Non-verbal, wordless. It is the transfer of information through the use this time of body language including eye contact, facial expression, gestures, and more. It includes the use of social cues, kinesics or body language, proxemics or distance between the communicators, and physical environments or appearance of speaker's voice and touch. Na? Example, smiling when you meet someone conveys friendliness, acceptance, and openness, which is opposite when you don't smile, shrug off shoulder, or roll your eyes. These allow us to say, I don't like you without uttering a single word. No? Other examples are facial expressions such as expressions of being confused, surprised, shy, and so forth. The third strategy is visual communication. It is the practice of graphically presenting information to effectively create meaning. There are many types of content in the realm of visual communication. Example includes infographics, interactive content, motion graphics, and more. To learn more, you are asked to watch this video by Teacher G of Vibal TV.
Before we proceed, we will be answering these 3 questions. First, what is communication? Second, why is interpersonal communication important? And third, how do we effectively communicate with others in our daily lives? Are you ready to learn? Let's go! People are expected to communicate their thoughts, feelings, and needs with other people. As the passage says, no man is an island. Communication, whether verbal or non-verbal, allows us to engage and to socialize. Thus, we need to ensure that we maximize this chance by utilizing appropriate turn-taking, turn-giving, and by considering various topic control strategies to better our communication skills. Turn-taking and turn-giving strategies show how the participants of the conversation communicate in an alternating manner. Speakers are expected to be more aware of when to commence and when to conclude their turn to talk, since communication here has to undergo a process of responding and transitioning to the statements of the different speakers. The more awareness the speaker has, the more sensitive he or she will be to know when to speak and when to be quiet, to provide chance for other participants to share. For successful turn-taking and turn-giving, the participants should be able to do the following. Identify who wants to speak. Recognize the perfect timing to get a turn. know how to use appropriate turn structure in order to use his or her turn properly. Discern other speaker's signal of their desire to communicate. And sense others' needs to have their turn. Here are some strategies to increase your speaking moment. Speak, then ask. Lay on the table the point you want to say to other participants. Then, ask them direct questions so they will be obliged to answer. Use conjunctions such as however, as a result, and on the contrary, appropriately to lengthen your term. Use phrases for agreeing or disagreeing, like I agree, disagree with you. I'm afraid I can't agree with you, and I couldn't agree more. Then follow up with your reasons for agreeing or disagreeing. Use fillers for pauses like, let me see, let me think. The thing is, and what I mean is, to give you time to think about the next things you are going to say. Avoid interruptions by beginning your speech with phrases that will make your listeners anticipate. Such phrases are, there are a number of things I'd love to do, although I, and because they. Give your opinion and allot time to ask for your listeners' opinions. Avoid correcting the speaker while he or she is talking. Reserve the feedback at the end of her or his turn. Many speakers look naturally confident. Their confidence often comes from constant practice. In speaking, your goal is to be understood by the receiver. Hence, you need to be more expressive and compelling than your usual self. In order to effectively put your message across, work on your body language, gestures, stance, and facial expressions to make the most of every speaking opportunity. Speaking or communicating is a collaborative effort between the speaker and the receiver. The initiative to talk will be coming from the speaker. Thus, he or she is the one who introduces, directs, and controls the topic he or she wants to talk about until such time that the receiver responds to or interrupts him or her and steers the conversation in a different direction. Topic control is an important communicative strategy because not only does it inhibit unnecessary interruptions and shifts in a certain dialogue, but it also contributes to the progression of definite topic or topics in a particular discussion. I hope that all the things that we discussed today will help you communicate better in the future.
More on the difference of verbal and non-verbal communication components from generated various sources. Again, when we say verbal communication, it is the use of language to transfer information through speaking or sign language. So other examples are conveying feedbacks in a construction manner, such as communicating to clients or customers, giving credits to others such as praising student, teacher, friend, employee, and so forth. Recognizing and countering objections such as is also a form of giving feedbacks. Na? On the other hand, there are different types of non-verbal communication or body language. Na? It includes facial expressions. We have only one face, but it can exhibit a wealth of expression. A smile can indicate happiness or contentment. A frown may indicate discontentment or frustration. How about upward movement of eyebrows? What do you think does this expression mean? Expressionless face also is hard to decipher, known as stone face, na? It may be nice to pop smile from time to time. Next one is body movement and posture. If facial expression shows our mood, the body movement and posture is the barometer, na? Examples are position of the body, stance, finger pointing, arms waving in the air, raking finger through hair, and so forth. Na? Third is gestures. Na? Gesture tells character and your message is conveyed in the form of actions such as shaking hands, waving, and the like. Eye contact. When you talk to someone and you don't look at them in the eye, they will feel put off and ignored. When you look down a lot, it also means you're shy. So what do? Have confidence in maintaining eye contact. When you are to have a public speaking, you can practice. For example, practice in front of the mirror. What will be your facial expressions, movement, gesture, and so forth, especially your eye contact. Na? When you are confident, you can look at the people you're talking to. Na? Have confidence in maintaining eye contact when you can practice to make you feel more comfortable. Na? Next, number 5 is touch, such as tap on the shoulder or hugging. Na? But right now, we practice social distancing. Na? We avoid touching others. We study or have meeting through online apps. So what can we do in order to communicate through touch? Na? So we can use instead emoji, kinder or extended online conversation instead, na? Sending heart or GIF, etc. Na? Now, how about when we see each other? How do we greet each other? Now, we can acknowledge others by, instead of hug, we touch with elbow. No? So, elbow to elbow. Or we sign heart. We show heart. We put together our hands and show a symbol of heart. Or with our 2 finger. No? For Filipinos, we do bless. No? Pwede pa rin naman tayong mag-bless. No? Next one is appearance. Appearance or outlook. No? We are taught not to judge a book by its cover because we can't access a person's intelligence or demeanor by the clothes they wear. Yet, in professional or formal setting, such as online class, one's appearance does send a message. This is why we wear uniform, suit to interviews, or even enjoy a casual wear for Friday at a workplace. Remember, how we present ourselves to people and situations tell a story. Hence, let's put thought to our appearance also. So, think about appropriate clothing, hairstyle, use of cosmetic, should be enough or just right, neatness, and enough jewelry. Depending on the occasion, you have to think about it also. Next, number 7 is sound. When someone's volume is elevated or mataas, or speaks rapidly, mabilis, we can say in some way they are excited or something is wrong or amped up. On the contrary, if someone speaks calm, slow tone, they're probably conveying their message without any cause of concern. So, anong pwedeng gawin? Dapat neutral or average na. The way we inflect our words also impacts how they are interpreted na. So, sounds convey message as much as the actual words we choose. So, we have to be careful with that. Now, you may access these video links for different examples and detailed discussions more of the topics discussed in your Module 2. Na? So, let's have a recap before we proceed with your activities. Na? So, again, in this module, we have learned that indeed communication is needed in building relationship and forming connections. You can interact using the appropriate conversation strategies and nonverbal cues. Na? Okay, let's dig in more with the difference between nonverbal and verbal communication. You are asked to fill in the blanks in this radial Venn examples of verbal and nonverbal communication. So draw it in your answer sheets and give 4 examples of each type of communication. For your recap, you are asked to read the following statements about verbal communication, and you are asked to identify whether the following statements are true or false. For your application, you are asked to write at least 5 important information gathered from this visual representation of local government unit of Taguig City in their Taguig vaccination rollout plan. Na? So you may start here on top. So what's a sentence or what ideas you could be able to formulate regarding this group of people. So these are medical experts. We have in here persons with disability or senior citizen. Okay, regarding health and taking medicines, and so on and so forth. Now, so based in here, you're going to formulate sentences. So write your sentences in your answer sheets. Again, remember to start your sentences with capital letter and end with the correct punctuation mark. For your evaluation, you are asked to read the following questions or statements carefully. Choose the correct answer for each number. Write your answer, which is capital letters only. For more information, you can visit the following links. These are used for your Quarter 4, Module 2. Again, you are to send all your answers in my messenger. Thank you so much for attending our classes. Please stay safe. God bless you all. Bye, everyone.